Hi folks, welcome to my channel folks. In this particular we will be continuing another question that is about the questions of the data science, that is statistics part basically. So we'll be going to get dive into it first of all now. So continuously supporting me folks, okay, so that I'm creating a content and you will be going understanding a lot of perspective about the question. And it's not about the cracking the interviews folks, okay, it's all about understanding particular solving the how you will be attending the particular question basically folks, okay. All right, till then we'll be going to get dive into the particular question, so that we're going to straightforwardly moving towards. So let's get dive into it. So let's get dive into dive particular video and we'll right. So keep subscribe to my channel, keep sharing this particular video to others who are preparing for the interviews basically folks. Okay. Number one is like what is a sampling and how many sampling methods do you know? Okay. So you can go through this particular reference as well if you want. Okay. So I have created this particular kind of a reference. Okay, let's get dive into understanding about data sampling. So data sampling is a statistical analysis technique used to select, manipulate, and analyze the representative a subset of data points to identify the patterns and trends in the larger data set. Okay, so what is a data sampling? It is a statistical analysis technique. It is used to select and manipulate and analyze the representative subset of data points to identify the patterns and trends in the larger data set. Okay, being examined. So it enables the data scientists, predictive modelers, data analysts to work with the small manageable amount of data about the statistical populations to build and run the analytical models more quickly while still producing the accurate findings. Okay, so sampling can be particularly useful with the data set that are too large to efficiently analyze in full. For example, in big data analytics, the application of surveys identifying and analyzing the representative sample is more efficient and cost effective than surveying the entire of the data or population. Okay, so important consideration through is the size of large required data sample is possibility of introducing a sampling error. In some cases, some say small sample can reveal the most important information about a dataset. In others, using a large sample can increase the likelihood of accurately, okay, representing a data as a whole. Even though it is an increased size of a sample may made easy of manipulation and interpretation, there are many different methods for drawing samples from the data. The ideal one depends on the dataset and situation. Sampling can be based on probability approach that uses the random numbers that corresponds to the point in the dataset to ensure that there is no correlation between the points chosen for the sample. Like further variation in probability sampling include like simple random sampling, like software is used to random select the subjects from the whole population. There is a stratified sampling, like subset of data sets or populations are created based on the common factor, and samples are randomly collected from each subgroup. So sample is drawn from each strata. Okay, using the random sampling methods like simple random sampling or system sampling. Okay, so in the image we have this particular images basically. Okay, so let's say you need a sample size of 6. Two members from each group, red, yellow, red and blue, are selected randomly. So make sure that you have to sample the proportionally. So what you do in the simple example, 1 by 3 of each group, 2 by 6 of each group, 2 by 6 of red, 2 by 6 of blue has been sampled. So if you have one group different size, make sure that you adjust the proportions, right? So for example, if you have 9 yellow, 3 red and 3 blue, a 5 item sample would be consist of 3 by 9. One third, that is one third of red and one third of blue. So there is another called as cluster sampling. So larger the data set is divided into the subset, that is clusters, based on the defined factor. So that is a random sampling of a cluster is analyzed. Sampling Unit is whole cluster instead of sampling individuals from within each group. Researchers will study whole clusters. Example in image below start are natural groupings by head color like yellow, red and blue. Sample of 6 is needed, so 2 of the complete strata are selected randomly. In this example, the group 2 and 4 are chosen. Okay, so you have to understand basically about this particularly. Okay, so multi-stage sampling more complicated from cluster sampling. This method involves dividing the larger population. So if you wanted to go through these clusters are sampled being analyzed. The staging could contain multiple subsets are identified, clustered and analyzed basically. System sampling, what happens is sampling sample is created by setting an interval in which to extract the data from the larger population. For example, every 10th row in a spreadsheet of 200 items to create a sample size of 20 rows to analyze. Sampling can also be based on non-probability and approach, which is a data sample is determined and extracted based on the judgment of the analyst. So based on the judgment of analysis and as inclusion determined by the analyst, it can be more difficult to extrapolate whether the sample accurately represents the larger population than when the probability sampling is used. Non-probability data sampling methods include like convenience sampling, like data is collected from an easy accessible and available group, and consecutive sampling is data is collected from every subject that meets the criteria until the predetermined sample size is met. And there will be purpose judgment sampling. The researcher selects the data to sample based on predefined criteria. So there is another called as quota sampling. Okay, the researcher ensures equal representation within the sample of all subgroup in the dataset or population, and random sampling is not used. Okay, once generated a sample can be used for predictive analytics. For example, retailer business might use data samplings to uncover the patterns about the customer behavior, predictive modeling to create the more effective sales strategies. So what you can do is if you have not like just go through this particular blog article, folks. So this is like great resource which I found, that is what is a data sampling. Yes, talk about that a lot here. Okay, how many number of type of sampling is about most of the characteristics basically. Okay, that's it about this video, folks. I hope we will meet you in the next video. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel and make like this particular video, and do comment down below what particular pain points you are facing by watching this particular video, so I will able to understand what you are feeling about it. Okay, all right, that's it about this video, folks. We will meet in the next video with another particular question for the data science interview question. We'll do that.